Today we are going to be talking about club quality. And club quality is so important. I think we all want to be in a quality club, right? I've never heard anyone say, you know, I really wish my club had less quality. But what is quality? The term quality has many different definitions, and the one I like is the one I found in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, which says quality is simply the degree of excellence. If we have a high quality club, it has a high degree of excellence. And on the other hand, if we have a low quality club, the club has, well, problems. Steve Jobs said, be a yardstick of quality. He went on to say that some people are not used to being in an environment where excellence is expected. I believe we need to make our clubs an environment where excellence is expected. And that's why we are talking about club quality today. This session is intended for club officers, but I hope everyone can get some benefit out of it. As a club officer, though, you are expected to understand and know this material. The session is designed to help you identify how you, as a club officer, have direct influence on club quality. If you're a new officer, some of this material may be new to you. If you're a returning officer, though, hopefully some of it will be new and some of it will be a reminder of things that you've forgotten. I know this is why I like coming to LACE because there's always something I learned that, oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm supposed to be doing that. We do have a full agenda today, so I would ask, please hold your questions to the end. We will have time for a question and answer period. Here is our agenda for today. We're going to talk about the executive committee, member value, moments of truth, distinguished club, club management tools and resources. And when I get here, I'm going to offer a number of tools and resources that you can use. You don't need to copy down all the links because we're going to put this presentation in the chat. David, if you could put the winter presentation into the chat now. It is a PDF file. The links are active. So you'll be able to go to the links that I'm showing you from the PDF file. We'll talk briefly about pathways and then important upcoming district dates. First, the executive committee. As an officer, you are a member of the executive committee. There are 8 members on the executive committee. Now, some of you maybe just went, what? How can there be 8? There's only 7 officer roles. Stick with me and I'll show you. First, we have the president, who is like the club CEO. They're overall responsible for the club. Then we have VP Education, responsible for education and training. Next is VP Membership, responsible for membership experience and growth. VP Membership works closely with the VP Education, as well as the next role, the VP Public Relations, responsible for marketing and promotion. Hopefully the VP Public Relations is bringing guests in who VP Membership can then work to turn into new members. And then the VP Education starts working with them on their education and training. Next is the secretary, responsible for administrative records and responsibilities. And then we have the treasurer, club financial manager, responsible for finances. If your club has a checking account, they oversee that checking account. They help to pay the dues if you're not set up for self-pay, which Toastmasters promised for years and finally delivered on, and it's working well in my clubs. Then we have Sergeant at Arms, facilities manager for either your physical environment, if you're meeting in person, or the virtual environment. And finally, here's that member that is often overlooked on the executive committee. It is the immediate past president who serves as an advisor. As an officer, it's important that you know your role, but you also need to know the others' roles. This is because all the officer roles work together. Sometimes you might need to fill in for another officer. And again, you're working closely together. So understand all of the roles. There are some excellent articles that were published in the TI magazine back in 2021 and 2022. I encourage you to go out and take a look at these articles. This link, wait for it, it will get there. It's a little slow. I don't think there are 100 years of articles out there, but I think there are quite a few, so it takes a little while to get there. There's an article on club secretary, monitoring the money. This would be the treasurer, the club coach. There's one on club coach. If your club needs a coach, meet the vice president, education. Master of promotion is the vice president of public relations. Vice president membership, the sergeant at arms, and then the club president. Take some time to go through each of these articles. It's worth your time. And then we have another link here to just the Toastmasters website itself, where there is a page for the club officer roles. This will show you then the president's role. There is a role summary. It gives you a tutorial, which is about a 5-minute video. And there's a self-evaluation form that I encourage you to use throughout your term, kind of see how you are doing. And as you can see, there is one for each of the officer roles. Club quality is important because this is where our members find their value, is in the club experience. We need to have a high quality club experience so that members find value in the club experience. When members find value, that's when they're going to stay in the club. If they're not finding value, like anything else, they're going to leave. We need to provide that value so they will stay, and then they help to enhance the club quality. The club quality then starts with the club officers. Club officers are responsible for leadership, planning, and recognition of the members. Each of these items is important to provide that club quality. And when there is club quality, then the officers are supporting all the members. Everyone is motivated. We have A+ meetings. And sometimes we just settle for, well, okay, yeah, that was a pretty good meeting. No, we need to always have A+ meetings. Make every meeting a great meeting. This is where the member then finds the value and stays in the club. They recognize that every meeting is a learning lab. This is where they come to learn, develop, and practice communication and leadership skills. It is self-paced. Members can go as fast or as slow as they want. Sometimes we need to nudge those members a little bit to get them moving faster, because the faster you go through the Toastmasters experience, the more value you find. This certainly happened to me when I started Toastmasters. I will admit I was moving a little slow at first. I was tentative, but as I started seeing the value I was getting out of Toastmasters, I wanted more, and I started doing more and moving faster and faster. I picked up the pace. Feedback is also where our members are going to find value. We need to make sure we are giving them good feedback, especially in those all-important speech evaluations. As I was putting together this presentation, I realized for the first time the word value is in evaluation. Okay, it's a little stretch, but it's there. We need to offer the member value when we give them an evaluation. Yes, we want to encourage them, tell them what they did well so they'll continue doing that. But also, we need to give them honest feedback on things to work on, to improve. These recommendations are important. We all can improve. And then finally, we all need mentors because we're in this together, but we need someone we can turn to when we need advice. This leads then to moments of truth. Anytime there is an interaction with Toastmasters, whether it's a guest attending a meeting for the first time or a member just attending a Toastmasters meeting, when there is that interaction with Toastmasters, the person is forming opinions, good or bad. And based on those opinions, they make decisions, good or bad. These then are called moments of truth. And Toastmasters has determined that there are 6 criteria we need to look at where there are these moments of truth. First impressions. This is when a guest shows up for a meeting for the first time. Are they warmly greeted? Are they introduced to the other members? Do they get information about the club and about Toastmasters in general? And importantly, are they asked to return and join the club? Maybe given an application form. And you'll see as I go through this how each of the officer roles is important here in each of these 6 criteria. Here we want the sergeant at arms welcoming the guest, introducing them around, and then handing them off to the vice president membership to work with them on getting in that application. Next is membership orientation. Once we have a new member, we need to get them oriented to how the club works. This is now usually the responsibility of Vice President Education to explain the education program, get them started in pathways, assign them a mentor. And then we have fellowship, variety, and communication. Every meeting needs to be warm, friendly, positive experience for the members. This is really a responsibility of all the club officers. Running of the meeting is going to be the president. And this leads to the next criteria: programming, planning, and meeting organization. Meetings need to be well planned in advance, sent out with an agenda. The roles need to be assigned so when the members show up, they are ready to perform their role. This is usually a responsibility of the Vice President Education. And then when that meeting starts, it starts with the president, and the president needs to start that meeting with energy and run the meeting with energy. And as Lance Miller says, Lance is the 2005 world champion of public speaking. Every meeting needs to start on time, end on time, and everything in between needs to not be a waste of time. The next criteria is membership strength. We know it's important to have a strong membership. This means 20 members because not all the members are going to attend every meeting. Even when you have 20 members, only about 15, 14 members are going to attend at any given time. If your club strength drops down to 15 members, now only 9 or 10 are going to be attending a meeting. And now this means everyone's going to have a role. Some people are going to have to double up. It puts more pressure on everyone. This is where Vice President membership needs to talk to those people who are not showing up at the meetings to find out why. There must be some reason that they are not getting the value that they're expecting out of the club experience. So find out why and start encouraging them to show up to the meetings. And finally, achievement recognition. We all like to be recognized for our achievements. So recognize your members when they complete a level or a path, or even better, a Distinguished Toastmaster Award. This means that the VP Education needs to be on top of this and let the president know before a meeting who has completed a level and needs to be recognized during that meeting. These then are the moments of truth. Toastmasters International has put this together as a module called Moments of Truth. And I'll show you later where you can download the parts for the Moments of Truth. When you're doing this session for Moments of Truth, it's recommended to do it once a year. It takes about a whole hour to do it well. I did it recently in my club in the last year or so, and it did take the full hour, and I felt we were a little rushed at the end. So plan accordingly. But it will start with the person giving a presentation like I've done today, explaining moments of truth, the 6 different criteria. This could be a club officer. It could even be a district officer, such as your area director might come in and do a moments of truth. After the presentation, the group is broken up into 6 smaller groups, ideally 6 groups. This will depend on how many members you have at the meeting because you need at least 2 or 3 people in each group. But each group is assigned one of these 6 criteria to discuss. And they have a worksheet which has certain strengths where you're rating how the club is doing on each of these strengths. And the strengths where there needs some improvement, those are the ones that then the group will discuss why that's happening and what can be done to correct it. At the end of a given time period, then the whole group comes back together and each group will present their findings on the criteria that they were discussing. Then it's important after this, don't just throw this away. The executive committee needs to meet and go through each of these items where there needs to be some work and identify the most important ones and work on those first. That is moments of truth. There is a moments of truth checklist. It's called Club Quality Checklist. And David, if you could put that into the chat area now, you can download this. There's various ways you can do this. It's recommended that you could send this out to all your members, and it kind of measures how you're doing on different aspects of your club. When you get those back, then it's a good idea for the executive committee to meet and go through the list, see where there's some of these areas that you need to focus on. In some cases, I've heard this could be maybe used by the general evaluator in the meeting, but there's too many items to go through everything. But there might be a couple things that the general evaluator could kind of look at in your meeting and then talk about it during their report at the end of the meeting. The Distinguished Club Program, hopefully most of you are familiar with this, but the Distinguished Club Program is a metric to measure how your club is doing, your strengths and weaknesses at any given time during the year. And there are 10 goals that each club is working on throughout the Toastmasters year, which starts in July of one year and runs through June 30th of the following year. So if you're not aware of this, we are halfway through the Toastmasters year. It's just flying by. These 10 goals are broken out into 3 different categories. The first are the educational achievements, and there are 6 goals here. I'll show you the goals in a moment. We want all members engaged in pathways. And I look at the DCP, Distinguished Club Program, as a barometer. If your club is doing everything you need to do, your members are working through pathways, you're going to meet these goals because your members are going to be completing levels. They're going to complete paths. You're going to bring in new members. So this first goal is just the education goals. There's 6 goals here. And we want to recognize, again, that's one of those 6 criteria in moments of truth. Recognize your members when they achieve an education award. The next category is the member dues renewal and membership growth. We need to focus on the dues renewal. And this means we want to keep our members. We want to show how strong our club is. And this means getting those memberships in on time. And every dues renewal period, we need to get them in before the end of either March 31st or June 30th. First, we want to get 8 members for sure, because that means then our club is in good standing. But then we need a stretch goal. Shoot for 90% of your renewals by March 31st. Go for 100, but at least get 90% of them in by March 31st. And then keep in mind, this goal is you want to have 20 members by the end of June, on June 30th. The other part of this is we know we're going to lose members. Unfortunately, Toastmasters has determined we're going to lose about 30% of our members every year. When I first heard that, I thought, oh, that's wrong. It's not that high, but sadly, it is. I've seen this over the years. So this is meaning we need to continually bring in new members. And the final category is covering training and administrative achievements. The training is officer training, which thank you for being here today. You are helping not only yourself, you're helping your club. Now, the goal in the DCP program is 4 out of the 7 officers trained. That's too low. Go for all 7 officers trained. I always remember what Bob Hudak, past district governor, told me one time. He said, why would you ever want to be in a club where all the officers aren't trained? It's especially not that difficult these days. It's all online. You don't even have to get dressed up, drive someplace. For all I know, you're sitting here in your pajamas today. That's fine. You're here as long as you're paying attention. So this is what the DCP looks like. And David, if you could put this PDF into the chat area. This is a form that is created and put together by Founders District. So you can find this on the Founders District website. There is a link here. If you lose the PDF, you can go and get another copy of this. First thing you're doing when hopefully you've already filled this out because we are halfway through the year. But if you haven't filled one out already for your club, it's better to start now than never. First thing is check this box, President's Distinguished Club. Shoot high. You might as well go for President's Distinguished. Okay, maybe you don't make it in your Select Distinguished, but go for the gold. The first category that I talked about were the education goals. And here you can see the 6 goals. So first, goal number 1, we have 4 level 1 awards. So if you haven't already done this, then you want to put in the names of 4 people that you think are close to getting their level 4 or their level 1 completion. If you've done this, maybe in July or August, you already sat down and did this. Review this now because you may find some members are not going to be able to achieve their level 1 award while other members will. Then goal 2 is 2 level 2 awards. Goal 3 is 2 more level 2 awards. Goal number 4 is 2 level 3 awards. And then 5 is 1 level 4, a level 5, or a DTM award. And finally, level 6 is 1 level 4, level 5, or a DTM award. The next category is the membership goals. And as I mentioned, unfortunately, you're going to lose members during the year. This is why you need to bring in 4 new members and then 4 more new members for a total of 8 members. The key here is to get started early on this. Hopefully you've already been working on this because we're halfway through the year. This was a mistake my club made last year. We only had 1 new member in the first half of the year, so it was a mad scramble to get 7 more in the second half of the year. But it can be done. Just focus on this goal if you're having problems bringing in new members. Next is the training goals. This is the minimum of 4 club officers trained. Go for all 7. And this is the training in each of the 2 training periods. We had the first training period in June of last year through August of last year. Now we're in the second training period of November through February. We need to make sure that all the officers attend both of those training sessions, or that you have your officers, because if you elect 6 months, then it may be a new set of officers. But if your officers attended last June through August, they still need to attend now, because there are things that we forget. And then the final section, goal number 10, is just the administration goals. And no club should miss this. This is just getting your dues renewal in on time. We already talked about that. Get them in now before the end of March. And then the other administrative role is just putting in your club officer list. That's important. It should have been done last June for the officers that are being elected for the full year. If you elect officers every 6 months, and you can do that if your club meets weekly, then you should have elected new officers in December. You need to put that list into Club Central before the end of December. If you haven't already done that, though, it's important you still do that now so that your officers who are attending this training today are going to get credit for it. If you have the old officer list out there, you will not get credit if you're not on the list that is on the Toastmasters website. Double check that if you're not sure about it for your club. Once we have these goals set, we need to monitor, see how we're doing. And this is important right now in January. Go out and see how your club is doing in the DCP. And keep focused on this during the next 6 months. This report is on Toastmasters website. I'll show you where it is. Let me show you that right now. If we click over here, this is the link, and you'll be able to just go to that link from the presentation. But if you're on the Toastmasters website, when you first come in, you will come in on either your home page, or in this case, you don't even have to be logged in. It's a little hidden though, so follow me on this. You click on the menu option for membership, and then down here in the middle, it says Leadership Central. Click on Leadership Central, and then scroll down till you see the Distinguished Performance Reports. Click on this, it takes you to the dashboard, and here in the upper left, you just type in your club number. If you don't know the club number, just type in club name, and it takes you to the dashboard. So here it's easy to see how you're doing. Your membership, in this case, this is my home club. We have to date 21 members. That's misleading because, again, there are some members who are inactive that unfortunately are going to drop out. But here is our requirement. Since we started with a base of 20 members back in July, we have to have 20 members or more at the end of June this year to qualify for the Distinguished Club program. Now, if you didn't have a base of 20 members, maybe you only had 15 members, that will show you as 15 members here, then you need a net growth of 3 new members. This is important because it used to be 5 members, but after the pandemic, clubs are struggling. So now you just need a net growth of 3 new members. Over here on the right, then you see your goals, how you're doing. Here are the goals met, 6 so far. Then we see we need to get 5 to be distinguished, so we are potentially already distinguished. We need to get 7 to be select distinguished, 9 to be president's distinguished. And then scrolling down, you can see how you're doing in each of these goals. So goal number 1, we are focusing on this because we only have so far to date 1 level 1 award. We need to get 3 more. And then you can see the other ones we need to work on. Membership, we're doing better this year. We've already got 4 new members, but we're still focused on getting 4 more new members at least. We want to get as many as we can. And then we are focusing on getting 7 officers trained, and you can see we've completed the last. So take some time and review how your club is doing. Your club leadership handbook. You should already have a copy of this. If you don't, David, can you please put this PDF into the chat area? This is your go-to guide. This is the first place to start. If you have any questions, you're a new officer, read through the manual. When I first attended training many years ago, the instructor said, I can teach you everything you need to know to be a successful officer with just 3 words. And I went, wow, this is fantastic. All I need to remember is 3 words. What are the magic words? Are they abracadabra? The instructor said, well, the 3 words are read the manual. That's it. Read the manual. He was talking about the leadership handbook. Now, I followed his advice, but I found it really takes 6 words. It's read the manual and follow it. I did the first part. I read the manual, but I didn't really follow it during my first term, and I had some problems. So read the manual and follow it. The manual will give you information about the governance of the club, district structure, tasks and deadlines. This is important because there is a timeline in the manual that tells each officer role what they should be doing during the year. Throughout the year, certain months, there are things each officer role should be focused on. You won't know that though unless you continually go back and refer to the manual. It covers each of the officer roles. As I mentioned before, read all of the officer roles, not just your own. Covers the Distinguished Club program, maybe a little clearer than I did. And it'll talk about pathways, club finance, the club events such as officer elections, officer installation, and speech contests. This again is your go-to guide. Start here when you have questions. I'm going to show you another place you can go, though, if you still have questions that aren't answered in the handbook. To manage your club, this is done through Club Central on the Toastmasters website. If you're not familiar with Club Central, when you go to the Club Central homepage, then you'll see there is a click here for some tutorials. There are videos that will show you how to use Club Central. I won't go through all of this, but some of the important items to be aware of is under club membership, this is where you can submit education awards. Any officer can submit education awards. Normally it's the VP education, but if they aren't available, someone else can go in and submit an award for a member. And in the case of where the VPE has completed an award, someone else needs to enter that because they can't enter their own award. Then we have membership management. This is where the VP membership goes to enter in the information for a new member. Also where the club treasurer then can pay the dues for the new member. And during dues renewal, the treasurer can pay dues here for members if your club is not using the self-pay option, which again, that's working well in our club. You can also get a Excel spreadsheet from here that gives you more information about your members. Another important area to know about is this club contact and meeting information. If you haven't reviewed this in a while and you're a club officer, go in here and take a look at this. Make sure this contact information is up to date because things changed after the pandemic where now we're meeting online and you maybe have changed officers. So there is a new person who gets the email. Whenever someone is searching for a Toastmasters club, they go up here to find a club, they click on this, then they search in their area, they may find your club, and they look at the contact information. If that contact information is not correct, they can't reach you. I read just this week in the leader letter that Toastmasters did a survey of why people didn't join a club. And they found that 50% of the people said they didn't join the club because they tried to contact the club and they never heard back from them. That's a problem. So either whoever is the contact didn't get the email or they didn't reply back, that's one problem, or this contact information is incorrect. Double check and make sure this is correct. We don't want to lose any potential members. Another area here to look at is the club success plan. We used to do this manually. There was a manual that we went through, filled out some forms. Now you can do this all online. This is that second area that I was telling you. I see this as the go-to other than the club officer handbook. This is the club officer tools. And this is a page on the Toastmasters website. There is a link here to go to this. I need to move this out of the way. The link here will take you to this, and I'm going to go over here. So this is what it looks like. Again, this one is a little bit difficult to find where this is. This is that situation where you need to click on, if you're on the home page here, you click on membership and then leadership central. This is again where, remember, you went here to find distinguished performance reports. Now we're going to the club officer tools. This is an important page for all officers to be familiar with. Here's where you can find the current leader letter. This comes out monthly from Toastmasters International. There is really good information in these leader letters. Read them. And besides, it's just fun to say leader letter, leader letter, leader letter. Here's where you can find, again, those club officer roles that we already went through. This club officer kit, when you click on this, it will expand. So this is where you can find the club leadership handbook. We put the PDF in the chat file, and I debated about doing that. I really recommend that if you're going to use the handbook, go online here and read the handbook online, because it does get updated periodically. The last change, if you look in the version here, it was changed in May of 23. It's going to change again this year when Toastmasters changes Basecamp around. So I really recommend, if you are using the PDF, periodically go and check, make sure you have the most current version. There's information on the Distinguished Club program here, the speech contest rule book. And then here again are those tutorials on Club Central. Scrolling down here to club management. This is another important link to be aware of. The first thing here is new member orientation. This takes you to a page where you can download a PowerPoint presentation to use for your new member orientation. The PowerPoint is modifiable, so you can customize it to meet your club. And I've just started using it in the past year. It's working pretty good. I need to make some more tweaks to it, but I recommend using this for your new member orientation. The other thing here under club management is there's a section on club quality. And there's a lot of good resources here. That's the thing. As an officer, you're not on your own. There are many resources to help you. This is where you can find that Moments of Truth module that I was talking about. If you go here, and then you will see Moments of Truth. This is where you download the handout. That's the evaluation forms that those 6 groups will use to do the evaluation of the 6 criteria. There's a PowerPoint presentation, and there is a manual that explains the whole process and a little script that you can use. And there are some other resources here. I recommend that you go through. One here that's important to be aware of is a Toastmaster wears many hats. This used to be sent out as a manual to all new members. Toastmasters many years ago stopped doing that, but there still now is a PDF file that you can send out to your new members, which will explain in detail each of the meeting roles. So that's Club Officer Tools. Become familiar with this. It's your friend. This is just showing you those resources that I showed you before. The other thing I failed to show you there is on that Officer Tools page, if you scroll down, there are some more Club Officer resources below what I showed you. Again, here's the place where you can go and get that leadership handbook. Pathways, I'm not going to spend much time on. Hopefully everyone's already familiar with pathways. But it is important because this is the educational value in Toastmasters. This is where we are learning. Make sure all members are enrolled, and new members should be enrolled within 2 weeks. The best information I can give you is with this link that's included in the handout. This takes you to Basecamp videos. And on this homepage for Basecamp videos, there are 3 videos which cover the basics of Basecamp, how to get into Basecamp, accessing your path, launching a project. But what's sometimes missed is up here, it's hidden. I wish Toastmasters would change this and make it more visible. It says visit this playlist. It's a link. When you click on the link, it takes you to YouTube where there are 23 videos on different aspects of Basecamp and pathways. I encourage you to spend some time looking at these videos, the ones you think are most important to you, and the ones that will be important to your members. The 2 that I especially am pointing out to my members are completing a project. For some reason, people either they miss this, they don't understand how to complete a project. They do all the work, they give the speech, but then they don't do that last step of doing this self-assessment at the end and then going all the way through that to where the project really is marked complete. So I go into Basecamp and I'm looking at these members' curriculum, and they're showing they haven't completed these projects yet I know they did. The other one that I see people failing to do is completing a level. This will explain to the member how to complete a level. I recently had a situation where I looked at a member, I knew they had completed the level, but they were showing 0%. So I sent them these links to these 2 videos. Take a look through these videos. They will help you. The Navigator is a document that should be given out to all new members. And David, if you could put that into the chat area now. This is an excellent document for getting new members started. It will explain how to begin in Toastmasters, the meeting roles, officer roles, meeting basics, pathways. But this is also good for current members to read through. There may be some information here on pathways you're not familiar with, but it'll also talk about icebreaker, evaluations, contests, being a mentor, and serving your club or district. And again, this is now more focused on current members. If you're interested in being a mentor, and we always need mentors in our club, this will give you information on that. Important Founders District key dates that are coming up. The first one we've already talked about, dues renewal on March 31st. Get 90% done before March 31st. Ideally, all 100%. The next item is the annual business meeting. This is coming up on May the 1st. If you are a president or a vice president education, you are expected to attend this meeting. This is the meeting of the district council. The president and the vice president education are members of the district council. You need to be there so that you can represent your club and cast votes. And this meeting is especially important because we will be voting in the new officers for the district who will be starting in July. If both the president and the vice president of education from your club are not there, your club's not represented because no one can vote for your club in that case. It's important. Next is the International Speech Contest. This is scheduled for May 4th. And if you're not aware, the second contest this year is the evaluation contest. This is an important contest because, as I said, this is how we give our members value. So this is where we get to have a little contest on evaluations. I expect that is also on May the 4th. If your club has not already started planning your club contest, you need to start now because you should hold your contests in February so your contestants are ready to go to the area contests, which start in March. And then the division contests are in April, and the district contests are on May the 4th. You can find information about the contests out on the Founders District website. Julie Murphy's doing a great job on the Founders District website. If you haven't looked at it lately, please go out there and take a look at that website. And then finally, the spring conference. This is May the 4th. It's going to be a hybrid meeting, so you can attend in person or online. I encourage you to attend in person. It's at a new venue that we've never been to before. I understand it is beautiful. There's going to be some fun and exciting, interesting events that are happening that day. So if you can, attend in person, but otherwise you're welcome to attend online.